Hi, hello, and good evening. We are finally back on a Monday night. Wow, I didn't know what I was going to say there. Chatting with our pal, John Michael from Big Brother Canada 11. Welcome to the podcast.
Woo! Thanks for having
Oh,
me.
man, thanks for hanging
Finally.
out. Finally, we've been discussing this
Finally.
since what, March?
Since the moment I walked out.
So
I think you guys were the first people that reached out to me. I was like, oh.
yeah, because like we
Wow.
genuinely loved you. All right. I thought the
Yeah,
season was
we
over. I thought I wasn't going to watch anymore. And I was like, well, might as
yeah,
well just talk to him, just shut down the podcast.
we
Because we're
love
basically
you.
done with this.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's so sweet. I appreciate it. Like, honestly, it was not something that I expected at all. Like, I'm not even kidding. I know it sounds so like cliche and very like I feel like everyone says it like, oh, when I walk out. Like, no, I genuinely, guys, like did not expect any type of support. I'm like, I probably said something dumb. Someone probably clipped me like farting or something and like just like embarrassing things. And that's like that's it. Like
We didn't see any of that. No, no. We
I
loved
know
you
it
from
was
the moment you
good.
walked in to the moment you walked out. So yeah, let's get into this thing, huh? All right. Well, I am
So
Kyle
cute.
Petty. Thank you. I'm joined by my festy besties, John Dunphy and Gina Morgino, and this is Strat Chat. We are joined this evening again with John Michael from Big Brother Canada 11. You can find us on the socials at Strat Chat Pod or on our website that actually is updated, stratchatpod.com.
Wow.
I know. Yeah. We had some
Ooh.
free time this weekend. I was sitting in the corner just eating my bagel, and I said, you know what? Let me get my life in order. Let's update this website. Let's get things together.
I love that. We love being productive.
Right?
Mhm.
Productive Saturdays. Yeah, crushing it. So, yeah, we discussed how you were first boot, broke all of our hearts, right?
Ugh,
Because you were supposed to win this thing, right?
yeah,
But everybody else clocked the same thing, right? So they said, you know what? No more John Michael. No more. And I guess the first thing to start with is I want to talk about Miss Santina / Santana. 'Cause-
Ratina, Snake Tina,
yes,
Say Tina. I said it all. Oh my! I
you
was so
sure did say it
bitter.
all. You
I
sure
was
did
so
say it
bitter.
all.
Oh my gosh.
You were a bitter Betty, and I don't blame you because again, all right. So pre-stream we were talking, and I had said I just watched your eviction episode, and like just rewatching how Santana was just going around, just acting like she's acting like she's so hard. She's so hard. Like this wasn't everybody else's idea, right? She acted like this was an original thought. We all knew it wasn't. Like we
No.
watched it too. We watched it too. But I think it's actually what's most interesting about this situation is the arc that y'all had. Okay, because you were definitely bitter on the Twitter. That worked for
there
us,
you go.
didn't it?
Oh my gosh.
Bitter on the
Listen,
Twitter.
That
bitter
was
on
a
the
good
I like it.
shirt.
There you go. There you go. But then we end up seeing this picture, postseason.
Yes.
And it's like, whoa. It's almost dropped my phone. Shocked the hell out of me. So tell us things. Tell us how this relationship led to you being blindsided, backdoored, and then all of a sudden now you're friends.
Oh my
'Cause
gosh.
it couldn't
I
be
think
me.
well
Couldn't be me.
I like well, first off, I'd like to first remind everybody that I chose Santina, right? Like I was a Santina stan before everybody else. Like it was I
Hey, everybody
call
else.
it like love call it like love at first sight. I don't know what
Mm.
to explain it. There was something very alluring about Santina in this house. And I was like, you know what? I have a mission. I wanted to represent the queer and Asian community. Why not team up with someone who is from the Asian community partly? And, let's do it. And it it really was shocking to me, like how everything turned out, because I thought that we were on the same page about working together. Like,
Right.
I really genuinely thought that this was going to be like a power duo, that, you know, I was really playing up like I didn't like her even. Like, you guys didn't get to see that, but I actually talked to her and I said, like, we're going to create distance. And if you hear people say that I'm talking about you, it's because it's strategy. Like, I just don't want us, like, we've already shown that we can win a comp. We've already shown that we can work together. Like, we don't need any more heat on us. And actually, regardless of our attempts to look like we weren't working together, people still assumed that we did. And so it was actually so heartbreaking when the back door took place, because even in the, you know, the Wendy's breakfast, again, something you guys don't see is in this Wendy's breakfast, I go and say, you know, I know we want to talk strategy, but I'd love to take this time and sit down and get to know about Santina. And I spent almost like 80% of this like Wendy's breakfast, like asking her questions, like, you know, tell us about like your cousins, tell us about your like your best friend Ashley, and like your fur babies, you know. And I got to learn so much about her, and there's something like compassionate about like the way that she moved in this house, that I like realized, okay, like this is someone who is recovering from something, and this is why she's the way that she is. She's so stoic, she's so like kind of like to herself, and that could be perceived, you know, as all these negative things, but I see it like after this. But I just didn't understand or know her side of like what she wanted to do, which was work with the boys, right? And my mission was obviously to get rid of the boys. And so it was so tragic, because I really put all my eggs in her basket. And I think that was a commitment that I made when I walked into the house. I really didn't want to play like this like sly game where I was feeding everybody BS. Like, I wanted to find that one person, commit to them, and that was it. And so when
Santina was supposed to be that,
and she really was like, there was like working
worse.
I know there was like working relationships with like Hope and Zach at the time, he who shall not be named, like Dan.
Woo!
I've always seen eye to eye with like Renee and Shania, like Claudia, like those were like the people that I hung out with the most, but I never spoke game. And this is like shocker, okay? I never spoke game until I was on the block. Like, I was like trying to figure out who I wanted to play the game with week one, because we were given a blessing, right? Like, I mean, we walk into this house, Arissa's like, no one's going home week one. I'm like,
Right.
hell yeah. Like, I'm gonna take my time with this. Like, no one has to be
Right.
playing so fast. Like, people who go home first are like, oh, I'm putting you up on the block because you sneezed. Gina, you ate too many bananas, so you're up on that block. John, you forgot to flush, and now you're on. You know, it's like these silly things that we find week one, and I'm just like, don't be silly. Just don't be silly, and just be people's friends.
Don't be silly.
Well, apparently that was perceived as like being like a social strategist. Like, they saw me and how I performed with the puzzle. They saw how like I never took a breath with the running up and down that ladder and the ball, and like being good with balls. Like, it was just like the right, you know, perfect mix of everything. And, you know, someone who I connected with later on was Daniel C. And he was like, yeah, it was a little intimidating. And I'm like, all right, I can see it now. But also, Santina was my partner. So going back to this,
you were supposed to be safe with her, was the thing.
Right.
Like, that's also why we're not playing the game so hard, because I was supposed to be safe. So I'm supposed to be able to take a back seat and just do my observations and not be silly.
Exactly. And this was what was so gut-wrenching, like, for us to watch this unfold. Because I still remember in that first part of that first HOH when you guys were doing that puzzle, and I remember you kind of like slowing down, being like, maybe we shouldn't win this first one. And Santina being like, no, we have to win. We have to win. And so then you probably feeling good in your partner, feeling like, okay, we can win this. So as long as one of us has power, we're good. And then to watch her flip that around in an HOH week that felt like she was just doing what everybody else told her and then ending up betraying you. It was so gut-wrenching to watch that we were just hoping for some kind of miracle to keep you in there. But
I know. I was hoping for like, oh, you won the first part, so you actually won safety or like something. Like I was really hoping for
Right.
something, but I'm like, oh man, this is just like the perfect way to start a show. I mean, a backdoor week one, like it's unheard of, it's unprecedented. Like it was just, it was iconic in ways that like I wish I wasn't part of, but here I am.
Right.
And it was that. So all of that happening, and I was like in this, cut to me walking out of the house. I'm like super grateful, and I'm doing all my stuff, and I'm talking about blah blah blah. And I watched the episodes after the fact because I'm like in this mindset of like I walked out because like she was tricked into this and she was tricked into that. And I think one of the biggest questions is like, why does JM foster a relationship with Zach and not Santina? Like in the beginning stages of like me being on Twitter, it was like a lot of like blast on Santi. And what I saw and witnessed was that like this backdoor plan, like that footage, when you see her go in to the pool room and say, let's get him out, that's like day 3. Like that's like day 3, guys. So there's like, so as a like I don't understand what I could have done at that point. Like I'm literally, we were still trying to figure out breakfast situations. Like we haven't even like there was like no game that was being played. Like, and then to see that I was like, what the hell? So yeah, I got bitter, I got angry, and I'm allowed to be angry and bitter.
The thing about that moment, though, like, is that I don't know, when Santina had barged into the pool room making that big declaration, like it really felt more like I'm using this action as a reason for you to like me. Like it didn't actually feel like something she wanted to do. It was just like, I'm barging in. Let me act like I'm one of the guys. Yo, this is what we do, and this is what we do. And I was like,
well, because it also like, I mean,
what is all this energy? I'm like, that doesn't even track right. Like,
because it also like it felt as out of nowhere to us. We were like, where is this coming from that you're walking like, no, this is what we have to do.
This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. Yo,
absolutely.
We're going down, we're putting JM up. And I was like, what? I was like,
I know. And this is like, I think like in anything, and I don't know how deep we can get into it, but like, I think that's why my eviction was so like, yes, heartbreaking and all these things, but it was also so controversial because viewers also had a really hard time understanding why it was me first. Like they saw my campaign, they saw the footage of like even the daily drops, God bless, no live feeds.
The dilly dallies.
Like the dilly dallies, you saw all of this and you're almost left with like, but why? But how? How is this like even possible? And then you like reconnect it back to like, it's almost like something, without speaking for other people, it's like, yes, you can tell me that like, oh yeah, I'm like the biggest threat in the game and blah, blah, blah. But that plan was conjured day 3. Like there's no way that it wasn't like through prejudice, like name it what it is, but that's how I feel in the heart of hearts. And I'm going to speak that forever. Like as a queer person, it is so difficult being queer, being a person of color, when you guys, like when you show like a level of intellect, of strength, you take a little too much room in that room, people want to cut you out. And that's how I felt. Like it was like,
you have to go.
Oh my gosh. Like, yes.
This is somebody that I can't like manipulate and control.
Absolutely.
This person is operating with far too much autonomy, and especially too soon. So let's get rid of that.
Right. And I made that choice, right? Like walking through those doors, it's almost like the Hunger Games. Like they like doll you up and like they put you like in this really nice, like, and then they just like you through the door and good luck. Like, may the odds be ever in your favor. Hashtag, Big Brother. And I like walk through those doors and I'm just like, how do I, like, what do I do? Like, I have a couple of choices here, right? Like play like super innocent and like, oh, I don't know this game at all. Or just be myself. And I just like chose like, you know what? I can walk out tomorrow. Like there could be a twist. And Arissa's like, actually someone's going home tomorrow. And I chose to like pretend to be someone else, or I chose to play a game that I didn't want to play. I would have so much more regret doing that versus like, I'm going to be myself. And if these people choose to look at me as a threat instead of working with me, then It is what it is, right? Like the
so-
footage speaks for itself, the cast speaks for itself. There's literally like it was so like it was almost like regressing my progress mentally when we went to the finale and everyone's like, we shouldn't have sent you home, but you did.
Yeah,
Right.
just
You
stop
did.
it, stop it. I already dealt with that.
But you
No, we're
did,
not going back.
right? I already went
Right.
through my therapy sessions. Like
Exactly.
I'm already done. Like I've moved
I
on.
paid many a copay. All right, I'm tapping out.
Right, I've moved on, y'all.
Yes.
Like y'all can deal with
Y'all
that on
still
your
on
own.
it. You
And
have
it's-
your own therapy to fix. Go
Yeah,
on.
and like don't get me wrong, you watch the first 5-6 episodes of the season and it's all about the tragic downfall of JM. And my friends that I've made on the show outside of those walls have messaged me and gone, oh my gosh, I'm like sitting here crying, like reminded of this like tragic moment. And I'm just like, I know, it's crazy. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
So anyways, circling back to Santi, or the power duo that everyone wanted to happen. There was no way that she was going to apologize for anything. There was no way. Absolutely not. I've still not received any apology. But I had heard from another castmate that she was talking about how, oh, it's very obvious that JM hates me. I don't know how he'll ever forgive me. And like for me, hearing something like that, I'm like, like I don't want her to think I hate her. I hated what she did to me, right? Like
Right.
you can still be fond of someone, you can still love someone and hate the things that they did. And that's like,
you're
I
hating an
didn't want
action.
her, right? I didn't want her to think at all. Like, remember, going back to what I first started with, I chose her, right? Remember, I was the Stantina first before everyone else. And like, I didn't want her to live life thinking like I hated her, because I don't, I really don't. It's just, I hated that. And so I found this moment where I was like, hey girl, you're gonna see some really nasty things I may have said about you on Twitter. And she goes, I'm actually not gonna get on Twitter. I'm like, okay, but I'm owning up to it. Just so you know, like I was really angry and bitter. I'm not gonna apologize for it because it's out there. I'm not gonna delete nothing. Like
No,
it's
'cause
there.
I
I'm
felt
valid
that in
and
that
how I
moment.
felt. Exactly.
Right.
But what I want to tell you is that I don't hate you.
Mm.
And she's like, I don't hate you too. I appreciate it. And I was like, okay, so let's go break the internet now and post the picture.
There we go.
So someone was listening to the conversation. I forgot who took this photo of us, and we just posted it. She was like all for it. She was grabbing my phone, like, okay, this is how the angle has to be. I'm like, this is, and just that's just like who she is. Like, I don't really think like now. I don't really think she meant any harm. Besides the fact that like she was like her gameplay just did not match mine, right? And that was my miscalculation. And I,
But it's not even a miscalculation because you can't know that early. I mean, like
true,
Of course.
like
you
yeah.
can say it was a miscalculation that happened later. I'm like, this was like the first couple days, like that
Right, like
doesn't-
how often do we see people saying that they're for sure 100% they're a final two, they're going to work together, and it crashes and burns the first time that anybody has any kind of anything, you know?
Right, because I don't even I'm not even really 100% sure what your name is, right? I think it's John Michael. Like I think that's what I heard.
Or John Martin. Maybe it's
John Martin.
John Martin.
John Martin. Yeah, there's mad people talking in the background. I don't know.
I know. I remember. It's funny because like when you like, you know, hours from the moment you walk in, well, the moment I walked in, it was like maybe 2 hours, maybe an hour-ish after, like, you lose concept of time in that house, just so you know. Like, we don't have any clocks.
Oh,
We haven't
Right.
had any clocks in a while, like, so you don't know any, but it felt like an
Oh,
hour or
what's
two after I walked in. And I'm supposed to memorize 15 other people's names. Like, no. Like, so when I first walk into, and you know, they tell us like, okay, like everyone's names are on the board. I'm like, that's exactly what I'm doing. So I'm standing there, I'm like memorizing people's names. I'm like, okay, it was Santina that I chose. Because at first I thought it was like something else. It wasn't Santina. I'm like, okay, but it was
Maybe it was
Santina, right?
Santana.
Yeah, you know, like something. And so seeing it, I was like, okay, so I'm just confirming the name that I chose. So things are good. Like her and I like will message each other on social media. Like I think it's hard to also like communicate with her because she's like out in the middle of nowhere. Like I tried FaceTiming her once and it was like, oh, I don't have reception. I'm like, well, like, you know, it's kind of like that. But for the most part, like it's civil. I think like if she was here in Toronto, I would make an effort to like kind of foster something, but I mean, it's hard, right? Distance is very hard to foster any sort of friendship or relationship if you didn't have one prior to.
Right,
And
right.
so it was, yeah. And she's also very like to herself as well. Like I think that people were shocked that she wasn't on Twitter and she wasn't on social media like right away. I'm like, no, actually, I'm not shocked because this is exactly who she was in the house. Like she was just behind closed doors all the time, doing her own thing. And Godspeed. Love you, Santi.
Right, that's interesting because I think that also kind of gives us some insight as to why we were lacking some social graces at some
Yeah.
times in the house, right? Because the waffle thing, resonates with me for sure.
Wafflegate.
Oh my god.
And I guess I got to tell you, stock in Santana was already on a downslide, but I mean it was a hard sell for me at that point. And I wasn't even high on Anika, right? I didn't really have at that point. Anika was like that bland thing in the house. Like we didn't really know like what Anika was really about, right? Like I don't know. But like listen, it didn't matter at that point. After that,
Right.
Yeah.
I'm Team Anika, right?
Oh,
Like, it didn't
100%.
matter.
I was so
Yeah.
confused. I was like, this has to be an edit. And everyone's like, no. This was like really intense. Like this was a thing. I'm
That
just
could
like,
be an
I'm like
edit.
taking survey with everyone. Like, were the waffles really that bad? And they're just like, yeah, they were like really actually tasteless. But like to go out of your way to be like, Gina, your waffles are tasteless.
Right, like,
And
that's
then
the
start
thing, like, I
calling
wouldn't say
them
nothing. Like
right.
I would just eat it.
It was also later when she then went into the room and she was like, everybody's mad at me because I told her her waffles were tasteless, and they. I was
Yeah,
like, oh
and
my
then
God.
she was the one. Yeah, she was like name calling them. I'm like, what is happening right now? Like she honestly, like here's like what I always tell people. She like when I interact with her, it makes me feel like I live in a simulation because sometimes I'm just like, you can't be real. Like you just cannot be real, and it's just like these like weird things that I don't want to say weird, but it's just like it's like how she acts and reacts. I'm just like, whoa, like
What
I
is
live in a
that?
simulation when I'm with her. Like when we were in like Niagara, I was kind of like enthralled in some of these moments of I'm just like, whoa, like I wish like if you guys like you guys need to get Renee on here. Like, oh my goodness, it is so funny. She like Santino walks in while we're like in, we have our hotel rooms, we're like chilling. We're like, I forgot what we had done that evening, or we were getting ready to leave. But I feel like we had come back from something. We were all just chilling. It was myself, Rob, Renee, Daniel C. Santino walks in. I'm like, wow, I really love your sweater. Renee's like, isn't that my sweater? That's like in my. She like homegirl had gone into her luggage and dug it out. And then Renee's like looking her up and
So
down.
funny.
She's like, "Are those my shoes too?" I'm just like, "Her Jordans." And it was just like, "Yeah, I just borrowed them." And I'm like, "This is what I mean. Like, this is like just like how she is as a human being." And I was just like,
God.
"Okay, all right, this is everything I needed to know about you."
Oh my
This is
God.
it. But it's
I just
so
remember, like,
funny.
I just remember like the whole waffle thing. Like the thought that was just replaying in my brain the whole time was like, Santina, you don't have to eat these waffles.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh my
I thought
God.
she was vegan. Don't you make waffles with eggs? Like, no, you don't.
Oops.
I'm pretty sure, like, or maybe she's vegetarian. I'm speaking out of turn here, but like, I'm just like, yeah, no, I saw like it was
She got
also,
rid of
like,
you too soon for you to remember.
Yep, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like actually what was really interesting is seeing how polarizing that reaction was. Like it was like 50-50. It was like 50% of the people were like, get her, get Anika, blah, 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 get her mother. And I'm like, there's nothing motherly about this. And then the other half is just like, why is she so mean? I'm like, I know.
Right, like so mean. And speaking of the meanness, I'm so happy that Gina mentioned the moment that Santana walked into the washroom. I just think she's so rude that I will not call her the right name. Like I'm done. Like, it's like Santana and Jasmine Do you watch Big Brother US?
I do. I didn't watch the recent one. I know of like
that's why you don't
Taylor
know
Hall
Jasmine.
and
Yeah,
but
that's why you don't know Jasmine. Yeah, that's for another
Jasmine, yeah.
night. That's for another night. So Santana walks in and she's just like, "Oh my gosh, people are so mean to me." People are right. So Kuzi goes out to her. She goes, "Oh my gosh, girl, like what's what's going on? What's going on?" And and Santana's telling her, and like Kuzi's like. She's like, wait, hold on. Yeah, she's like, I'm not really sure that I can co-sign on this, right?
She's like cluing in as to what's happening. Like she's like, wait a second.
Like it was such an amazing moment. Like I swear it was so good.
Yeah, Kuzi had me living, and then I think that actual like segment ends with her going and saying, "Why do I miss all the fights?"
Yes,
And this was like
yes.
this was like
That's
after
right.
the whole like Zach situation. I'm pretty sure, and I'm just like, really,
Yes.
girl, like she is made for TV. Like I love Kuz. Like oh my gosh,
Wild.
She was
Wild.
she was
Oh my
my
God.
female winner pick actually for the you
Oh,
were my,
yeah.
my male winner pick. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's
we
what you
love
did. You
Kuzi.
cursed us, John. That's actually what happened here.
Yeah.
Woo,
I'm the worst.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I
I'm
will
kidding,
also
I'm kidding.
say, I will also say, just because Jasmine came up in relation to Santana and her Wafflegate, what's funny is about Jasmine on her season of Big Brother, season 24 in the US, she has a Muffin Gate.
Right. She
So-
also had a food
I've seen this.
incident.
I've seen this on TikTok. I've seen all of this. Yes, I know exactly who you're talking about now.
Yes. And I
It's
will say
wild.
that is the one
Wild.
time that I was entertained by Jasmine.
Yeah.
But otherwise, no, I did not enjoy her. I did not enjoy her.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
We actually might get to meet her at House Chops in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we're going to House Chops.
Yeah. Ozza,
Ooh.
does these like premiere parties and like, viewing parties and things. So like we finally decided to like just hop on in and we're going. We're super excited. We still have to discuss outfits. What are we doing?
I know I'm stressed out. I don't know what I'm wearing.
I know. I just want to wear something good enough that Taylor wants to take a picture with me. That when I
Yes.
approach her, because I will, because I'm going to have a couple in me, I'm just going to charge right over.
Mhm.
And I want to be wearing something decent enough that she will not say no.
As-
Like, no,
forget speaking to. I cannot be in the same room as the most beautiful woman on earth and not look correct. Like I have
Absolutely.
to.
Yeah, see, I'm not really anywhere in her lane, so I don't really care. I'm just gonna wear something that is comfortable to me.
There's a part of me that like wants to somehow wear like one of the ridiculous costumes that they make people wear on Big Brother. Like if I could just show up
You
in
get
like
so
a
much
star,
attention.
like a
That would
star
be
costume, like the same
so
one that
funny.
Janelle had to wear.
Banana,
That would be
the baby
hysterical.
costume that John wore in Big Brother. Like
Yeah.
anything. Yeah.
I'd like you to wear
Yeah.
something that's not as big as a star, because after we do have to sit on the subway or something together, so a
One of the like
banana-
leotard
banana
ones.
is a little
yeah.
bit more slimming. You can
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
I can sit next to you on the subway. A star,
Yeah.
you're gonna take.
It's
up
a lot
of
more
space.
functional. Yeah.
Yeah. How are you gonna get through the
True.
turnstile? I mean, you have a lot of things to consider with the star.
Going to the bathroom is going to be a nightmare all night.
And we
Oh
won't
my
help you. We will not help you.
Nyor.
But Kuzi is fantastic, and it's also really, really funny that she even makes mention of missing, all the fights, because she obviously was in the best one, right?
Yes.
And I'm so sorry that I don't have a clip of that, but I do have a clip of my second most favorite Kuzi moment.
Ooh.
And it actually mentioned somebody, because you mentioned Renee.
Yes.
I would love to chat with Renee, so if you could just make that happen.
We love
I-
Renee.
Oh,
We
we're-
love
I
her.
can
Oh, yeah.
I can try to make that happen. She's a busy girl, but
Wait,
I'll
we
message
have
her.
a funny story about Renee's sister.
Yeah.
we want to share. but-
Vanessa or Nicole? Vanessa, the younger one, or her twin.
Whoever was running her socials.
Yeah.
So
I
yes,
forget.
Vanessa. So
Vanessa.
Nessa.
Okay.
Yes.
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 We have a story about her, but first, my second favorite Kuzi moment.
If she's the one that sends me to jury, I will do everything that I can just to make sure she will not touch 100,000 from Big Brother. Her name will never be remembered as a winner of Big Brother. I will make sure that she fails once again.
Oh my God.
Like, oh my God.
Ruthless.
Spicy.
Brutal.
So
good.
spicy.
So good. Like
I love
anytime I
it.
need to laugh, I pull this up on my phone because it's just like it gives me everything. Like,
In some ways, I wish that I was so much more direct, like as because, like, we are like when if you really take a step back and watch the DRs, like we're pretty like, we're like so like coy with our language. We're like Kuzi, she was so direct, and I loved it. It was like at one point, I forgot what episode it was. She was like speaking in the DR, and I'm just like, this is my internal monologue. Like she is literally saying everything that I'm saying in my brain right now. This is crazy. And then in some ways I wish I was a lot more direct with my DRs, but oh man. 6 episodes, so
you got more than a lot of other people. Positive spin for Monday.
that is true. That is true. I'll take it.
Yeah. So if you remember, the whole reason we got to chat with Zach was really because of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really
you for that.
connected. Yeah, you connected that. Do you know the full story? Like everything that transpired after you shared that clip? For those that don't know, what was the rant about? We were talking about Zach. Well, because Zach was annoyed.
It was
right?
Twitter.
Well, I remember Renee's account tweeted.
That's what it was.
Yes.
And her account was getting a big boost.
Because she was at,
and then
yay, hooray, I'm at 100 followers.
Yes,
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember this.
Yeah.
I remember
exactly.
this. So
Zach,
Nessa,
Zach made a comment.
and he retweeted
I got real
it.
sassy with Zach.
So Nessa on Renee's Twitter goes and says, "Hey guys, we're almost at like I don't know what the milestone was, but let's assume like 100 followers.
It
like
was
we're
low.
almost at
It
100
was so cute.
followers. Like thank you so much. Blah 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 blah."
Mhm.
And he like quote tweets it and goes, "Twitter game, just like her,
Just like
her
comp
Her
game.
Her comp
game.
game.
yeah, like
That's
her
something
comp
like that, yeah.
game, like something like that, right?"
Yeah,
And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this man, like, this is her younger sister, like, please. But he's not malicious. I mean, I hope
Right.
not. So he was doing it for the fun of, but boom, she went up to like, what, 1K in like the next hour
Oh,
or two?
yeah.
Like, it
Uh-huh.
was
Blew up.
nuts. It was
After
nuts.
all that, yeah, she had like 3 times the amount of followers that he had by the time that all blew up. Yeah.
Mhm.
I will say that we spoke to Zach on the podcast here.
Mhm.
And like after talking to him, like you can really feel that a lot of what he does is like
For the bit.
to stir shit up. Like that's what he wants to do.
Right.
But we had a good talk with him, honestly, you know.
No, he's fun. He is very CEO bro. It's what you get, like there's definitely, good times with little Zachary.
Yes. But you skipped like the whole
The meat and
connection.
potatoes of the story.
Yeah. So, so obviously like we obviously had what we had to say about the fact that like, she had this boost and now she's got more followers than he does, even though he's sassing her. Right. So we go on this whole big thing and, we make a clip of it. And then obviously that's what you shared.
Yes.
So then, yes. And then tagged Zach in it. So then Zach shares this on his story. It was like, oh, well, your follower game ain't nothing. He's like, looks like y'all could use a boost
my
too.
Lord.
He came
Right?
for us.
He sure did come for us. So then I DM'd him. I was like, yeah, SOS, help us out.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Come talk to us, right?
Yeah.
And then but before this, there was some sass between Zach and John. Like they were,
Yeah.
yeah, the
Oh,
night
yeah.
before
We were
this,
going
they
back
were-
and forth.
Ooh,
There was
all
like a-
the drama.
Yeah, there was like
okay.
a fire back and forth.
I was shredding him
It was rough.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
to the point.
was
It was to the point where once Kyle reached out to him and like confirmed everything that he was going to come on and talk to us. Once that happened, Zach actually messaged me and we like had a conversation that was much more civil. And I told Kyle and Gina, I was like, I feel like he wanted to reach out to me just to make sure he wasn't coming on and I was going to be like a dick to him the whole time.
Totally.
He probably did,
Totally.
and I don't blame him. I don't.
Oh,
blame
yeah.
him, because like
It got
that-
rough. It got
It
rough.
did. It got real spicy. I don't remember
Yeah.
what it was. It was like, oh my I was like, ooh. And like I was being friendly with
Well,
him. Like, oh, this is
yeah.
great. But I was just like, oh, I can understand if he didn't think it was super fun. He would want to make sure that we're all having a good time.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. I know for me, like the Renee thing is what kicked off, how we got him on. But like what bothered me was a lot of the other things he was doing in the house, and like the way that he like didn't know your name, and the way that he kept saying over and over again about how you were in love with him and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh,
Oh, I forgot that.
I
get
Yeah.
forgot about
over
that too.
yourself.
Damn.
Crazy, yes, like the in love, like the
He's obsessed
cancer
with me.
thing, the oh my gosh, like that was like tough. I was like, really? Like that's like I think there's like a difference between like saying like, oh, Kyle's a dangerous player versus like Kyle needs to be cut out of the house because he's a cancer, because cancer
Yeah,
spreads.
cancer. Like,
Like what the
yeah.
heck?
Yeah.
Right.
What the heck?
Jeez.
Like
Because
whoa.
now, because
'Cause
especially
it's
with
not
how much,
game.
yeah,
No.
and especially with how much like influence in the early stages of the game that Zach had, because he's going
Right.
around and not just saying that we need to get rid of you for game reasons, but now anybody that he talks to when you're in the room alone with them now is going to be thinking this person's a cancer, not just like a threat to my game, but like I need to get this person out because they're not a
Right.
good person. Like that's how I felt like you were being unfairly portrayed in the game. And I was like,
100%.
yeah.
No, I agree because like even like you're not gonna find the footage of me talking shit about my castmates. Like you're not. Like simply because like in the house, that is. Outside the house is a different story. But inside the house, I made sure to be very particular with how I described how a person was, because I didn't want that to be the thing, right? I didn't want people to think of someone as this, because like in this moment where like because I figured it out so fast. Like Santina had told me something that I told Zach and it went back around and I'm like, oh frick, like he is like he's manipulating her, and I knew that. But like how I wanted to describe it was like he's bullying his way into this, and and using something like that could be so dangerous too, because the way that the narrative could be spun and all these things. But I was so particular, and again going back to like Kuzi, like I wish I was a lot more direct with the way that I was like narrating my thought process in all of like this journey, because I caught it so fast. I don't know what I was thinking playing coy. I think there was like a part of me where it's like, no, I think I can stay. So the last thing I want to do is create an enemy out of someone, even though had I stayed, I was gonna gun for Zach anyways. So it would have been a fight that I'm just gonna quote Kevin Martin, like the only thing that we were robbed of is the entertainment of like me going like just ballistic on, because I figured it out, right? And I was like really trying to keep my calm, because on the off chance that I like made it through, like I can't think of a single back door that was flipped. Like one thing about my memory is that if something resonates with me, I'm going to remember. I'm going to memorize it. I'm going to like almost like relive it in my head over and over.
It's gonna stay right
And
there.
and the moment that I was like sat on that back door, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know any backdoor plays, even from the US seasons that I've watched. I've watched like almost every single one of them, like all the way back to like season 8 with when Diana gets like, I think it was Diana's season, right? The twin season, whichever season that was. That was like my first Big Brother season, or 5. No, that was 5.
I say, wait a minute. Yeah, the first twins. I'm like, yeah.
It was like
I
a
remember
really
that.
early season. I still remember that. I only
Remember
watched
the
that
tank
season
tops,
once.
freckles, long hair.
Yes.
Yeah.
I only
don't
watched
remember
with
the name.
Drew and the cowboy and
Yes, I
the
can picture the
sister
face.
that they didn't
Yes,
know that they were.
Onus.
Yes.
Yes.
Like I remember all the way from that season, right? I remember plays from that season, and even how Drew cut Diane at the end. When I was so young watching it, I was like, I don't understand why he would do that. And then now I realize, oh, he had no chance of winning if she was sitting, in final 2 with him. So something like that resonates with me, I will always remember. So I just have never like memorized or thought of a backdoor flip. So like in this like heat of this moment, I'm like, oh my gosh, I could be the first person that could flip this backdoor. So I was still trying to be like, little goody two shoes, trying not to like really rock the boat. But I had like by the final night, I had enough votes to stay. I think what everyone really after the fact have said, like, if I had brought everyone into the room together and just been like, this is it, guys, like, this is the group, it would have worked. But it was heartbreaking because, like, imagine I'm so empathetic. Like, oh, it's like another thing that, like, my biggest downfall in this game. Like, I'm telling you, when I go back, I'm gonna be a freaking menace. I don't care. I don't care if you got kids. I don't care if you. I don't care what gender you identify as anymore. Like, that's it. I'm a bro, and I'm gonna like. That's it. Like, I'm gonna be such a menace. Like, I'm telling you guys, and so it was like also so difficult. Like, as I got people's buy-ins, like, I'm recognizing that these people are putting their game, like, you know, in jeopardy to keep me safe. And it was so hard for me as a human being to be like, oh my gosh, I'm asking so much of these people. Like, so it's tragic. Like, I think that there's some who come in and say, like, he shouldn't have said that he was gunning for the boys so soon, blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, you don't understand, like, what happens in that house. You go crazy, like, actually psychotic in there. Like, you're always living in your head. It's like, ugh, I don't even remember saying that out loud. I was like, damn, really said that in front of the broiest of all bros. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh. But at that point, I thought I was like fostering a friendship or relationship with Zach at the time and Dan. So I didn't think that they were supposed to be. That's like, ego was so fragile that, you know, they couldn't handle me, you know, going for their boys or whatever.
Well, I mean, you know, if we're talking about Zach, you can't really talk about Zach without talking about his grand exit. And, you know, obviously you weren't in the house when this happened, but we would love to know what it was like watching that in real time.
So spoiler alert, I knew it was gonna happen the moment because Zach had called me before the eviction night. So I have a Discord community that I own with a couple of other people, and we watch every night. And so I had to like play it down. I was like, oh my gosh, like I wonder what's happening in this episode. Meanwhile, I just got off the phone with Zach. I'm like, why are you
because he had left before, I understand.
Right. So like, because I had known like the timing of which like you kind of come back to society, he called me and I was like, what are you doing? Like that my first thing was like, what are you calling me for? And then I realized I put it 2 and 2 together. I'm like, no. And with the digital dailies being down, I was like, this is crazy. But to see it and witness it, I was like, so you backdoored me for no reason, basically. Like you put all like, and for what? Like you put in all of that effort. You called me the wrong name. People are thinking you were being microaggressive with me. You ruined my dreams of being on Big Brother. And for what? To walk out? Like, that's crazy. Like, I'm just like in utter shock when it actually happens. I'm just like,
so now I can't remember the full timeline of this, but were you aware of the letter while you were in there or no?
So
okay.
I will put this out there, and you guys are gonna be the first people to get like the actual scoop. I was there when Hope pulls out this so-called letter. Because what happens is when we are like in the house, you get stuff cleared. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about this, but like, you know, you get through like stuff like Nike was like Hope was like the spokesperson of Nike in that house. I'm just like, how did you get this all approved? Like, I was told like I was told that I couldn't even bring my Lulus. Like, what's happening in here? But he had like a bunch of stuff that was cleared, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I was waiting for my Lulus to get cleared, and so I was like, oh, Hope, like, do you want some help? There was like 6 bags of his crap. And he's like, yeah, sure. So I bring it up. I'm just sitting there. I don't remember what we had done. I think we were just finishing the second part of the HOH, which is why I rushed into the pantry to see. And so I've been sitting there and I'm just kind of like, okay, so Santino won. Like, I shouldn't have any problems. I'm sitting there. And Hope does this thing where he's like going through the stuff and he like looks at me like dead straight in the face and he goes, no way. And I'm like, literally, and I know that you guys have people who only watch you, but if you can narrate what I'm doing right now, literally, this is what I do. When I saw his face, I was just like, I don't need to know. 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 And I just literally get up and walk away because I'm just like, I don't know what this is. I don't want to be responsible for it. I don't know what it is. So I didn't know exactly that it was a letter, but there was something in there that definitely wasn't supposed to be. I just didn't want to be the person to rat him out because it was like, okay, put yourself in that position, right? You were the only person that knows, and you tell Big Brother, and then he gets in trouble for it. Like, that compromises my game. I'm like, it's like, to me, it's like, whatever it is, it's not gonna affect me. Like, I'm not gonna let that, like, there cannot be something in that house that could be so privileged that it would affect my gameplay. Like, unless it was like a cell phone, like I really doubt a cell phone would have made it into the house. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
or unless someone somehow managed to get like a bunch of cash inside and was like paying people off to lose competitions or something.
Like I just
that would be a big deal.
Whatever it was, instantly I knew that I didn't need to know what it was. I was just like, all right, bye.
Because also, it wasn't far enough in the season for any actual information to have leaked in or anything, you know? Like, it was just...
Exactly. Like, whatever it was like, to me, personally, I was like, it's harmless. I don't care. Like, Hope was already playing this, like, I'm like the younger brother. Like, I don't, like, he's kind of, you know, high energy, wasn't super serious, super sweet. Yeah, like, I really doubt that there was anything that was in there, or whatever the content was of whatever he saw was going to be harmful. Well, you know, lo and behold, it actually was.
So based off of what we saw, though, like as the note became totally public, did you feel like the punishment that Hope received was appropriate, not enough, too much? And I guess Ty also had a punishment then, right? From seeing the note and withholding information until a certain point or whatever. But
I think, like, in the house, I'm like such a stickler. Like, it's difficult because, like, I love and adore Hope. But I don't think it warranted a disqualification. Like, I'll just say that right now. Like, I don't think that was, like, that would have been my justification of the situation. I think that he should have been put up as a third person on the block. Like, I think, like, his vote didn't count, no HOH, and also you're back on the block. Because obviously you can't just put him back after the fact Kuzi put Zach up, because now it just showed what Kuzi would have done had this whole situation not taken place, right?
Sure.
So that wouldn't have been fair to Kuzi. And Kuzi had nothing to do with the letter. And so that wouldn't have made sense to me. But, like, if it would have just been like, you know what, 3 people back up on the block and let it be, like, that would have changed. I think that would have changed. That would shook up the game a little bit, you know, like, and also, like, when I think of Big Brother, like, it actually kind of, like, they kind of scare me in a sense that, like, they're very, like, heavy footed, right? Like, the things that we've seen in previous seasons, like, you know, everyone being put on slot because someone ate a wedge from, like, you know, someone else's Wendy's breakfast or whatever, like, and everyone got put on slot. Like, I was assuming that something tragic or something crazy was going to happen. And I think that was the only thing. Like, yeah, everyone got letters that, like, evened out the thing, but I would have loved to see him.
I could have seen Hope being put up as a third nominee.
Yeah.
I wonder if Zach still would have walked, though. If that would have been
I think he would have. I think there was no way at that point that the house was going to, like, flip. Like, he was so exposed, right? Like, I think, like, yeah, I mean, he performed the cardinal sin, like, unforgivable sin, but he was playing a good game.
Yeah. Yeah,
He was
he was just playing way too
controlling.
hard.
Right,
Too hard.
exactly. And too exposed. Too exposed. There's this moment where him and I are sitting in the pool room and he's just sitting there while I'm playing pool by myself. And he's like, "Oh, I don't appreciate you like using your campaign to throw my name under the bus." And I'm like, it was just like, hold on 1 second here. If you really think that people in this house are not intellectual enough to see that you are behind closed doors, you're kissing up to the HOH, you're doing this, you're doing that, then I don't think you're seeing, like, you're lacking the awareness to win this game. Like, you don't need my help. You don't need my help for people to look at you as a target. You've made it very known that you're here to control this game. And if I'm really sorry, but like, we're not stupid. Like that's just what it is. Like we're not puppets, and we're gonna figure that out. And I think like in this moment, in the heat of like everything that's like just compiled, he would have gone home. Like the only way that he would have stayed, I think, was Daniel C flipping his vote. But Daniel was so committed to like Kuzi and Anika at the time that he wouldn't have like kept him in the moment. I mean, like at least that's what I have heard, even outside the house. But like it was bad. Like they wanted to get rid of him.
With his style of game, if the game was 3 weeks long, maybe he would have had a shot to win. But after a certain point, everyone's going to be like, all right, we're tired of you trying to control everything. Like the game's too low. Was it 75 days this past season, right? Like you can't spend that much time with this many people and they're not going to get annoyed that you keep trying to control every single move that happens.
Absolutely. Like it was too hard too fast. And I have respect for the game that he wanted to play. Like I get it, right? Like I understand that whole like, okay, I have my boys. I don't agree with the whole like the boys have their numbers kind of thing. It's very 2001. Like I'm like, I don't know about that. but everything else, like I get it. I understand like that is a strategy to win this game, and I can respect that. But I think that he was just too exposed. Like you don't do things like that when you're not the HOH. You don't do things like that when you don't have like protection. Like I think it's different too. Like had, third week, I think like his only chances to stay were if one of his alliances like had won. But something that they cut out the show, apparently when Kuzi had Santina and Zach up on that block, she was going and saying, "This is for JM, this is this." Like she was like really saying that, and I was like, oh, you're just like blowing smoke up my ass. Like there's no way that you were doing that because we didn't see it. Everyone else though told me that she was doing that. She really dedicated that week to like revenge for JM, and I'm like, so I gave you my Wendy's points. I knew it. Those Wendy's points came in clutch.
Yeah. Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you, Wendy's. No, it was
so
super
funny.
sweet. And like I think like there was like the impact that I had in the 13 days that I was in there. I was like, okay, like if I was really like the sacrificial lamb that had to, be slaughtered for all of that to happen, I'll take it.
Sure.
I like that.
No, yeah, you had a huge impact in there. Your exit, it was too quick, but like the way that you went out was like head held high, and no, we absolutely loved you on the show and continue to love you to this day.
Yeah, I should have been more tragic. I should have been like more dramatic, everything. Like I look back at it, I'm like, I'm a lot more like crass and like witty than this. Like I was really giving you guys some like Angel Halo like version of me.
Well, that just means that we have to get you back on something else.
Hell
right?
yeah.
Yes.
So, like, obviously, you would play Big Brother again. Like we already know that. Is there any other like reality TV show that you would want to be a part of? Like what other games like intrigue you?
I feel like I would do so well in Survivor. I feel like I can
Really?
compete
All the
so
bugs,
well.
the
Like
bugs.
like the bugs they don't bother me. Like those things. Like actually,
couldn't be me.
okay. Fun fact: I've never been bitten by a mosquito ever.
What?
Wow.
Isn't that
How is that
crazy?
possible?
I
Never
was literally
once.
My
bitten
legs are
during
torn
this
up right
stream.
now.
Yeah, I was bitten
Never
during
once.
this. I said, "What the hell is this?" Like, like I was literally bitten tonight.
Yeah, no mosquito bites ever. And we like lived in so we have a cottage up in Muskoka, and Muskoka is just a cottage town, you know, and it's like giant lakes, etc. Mosquitoes everywhere. I've never been bitten once. I spent every summer like from elementary school to high school there, and it was just like, yeah, I don't know what you guys are talking about. That's very weird.
Okay, I
Weird.
mean that's just
Yeah.
one. That's just
Amazing
one bug,
Race,
though.
I think
Right.
would be a good one. Yes, yes, Shauna, like Amazing Race, I
have-
think would be really fun.
So do you have anyone in mind already that you would want to play with? Is it like somebody from
there's
your
so many
personal life or somebody on
choices.
Big Brother?
There are so
That's an
many
important question, I
choices.
think.
It's so many choices. I think that it would be so fun to do with my mom. Because like if you guys
Oh,
got to
very
meet
nice.
my mom, she is literally like the female biological version of me. Like you would just be like, you're Jam's mother. Yeah, like I get, like, we just have the same type of humor, same type of energy. She's so smart. Like I just want, like really getting on the show. Just wanted to make them so proud. Like both my parents. I think like she would be a really good contender. I think someone like Renee would be really fun to do Amazing
Renee.
Race with.
Would you ever play the Amazing Race with Santina?
You know what? Yes,
Oh, God.
actually, because you can't backdoor me.
Chaos.
We have
have
like
to play with me.
literally, we would have to work together to win, and there was no way that you can. I mean, of the Amazing Races that I've watched, you can't screw over your partner, right? So
No.
No.
okay. So like that's not how the game works, and therefore I would be willing to
Right.
work with Santi. I just
Yeah.
would have to do a couple of things, like can she drive? How is she with the map?
Right.
Right.
How long
you
does it take for
Has
her to
be a
get
really
ready?
Thorough vetting process, right? Like,
Yeah.
you're not just going to just accept anyone. Like, fill out an application and we will get back to you.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
You can technically screw over your partner, but in doing so, you're also screwing over yourself. But that hasn't
Exactly.
stopped people before.
I'm
So
trying.
yeah, we've seen some rough duos in the past. So
Okay, so maybe not Santina then. I think someone like Daniel C would be really fun to
Oh my
gosh,
to
he's
go
so
with.
fun to watch,
He's
yes.
so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
I think if Kuzi would be down
Oh.
to like, I feel like there's just like so many like in our, so I started the season 11 group chat. I made sure everyone was in there. I hunted them down. Like the moment that production was like, yeah, they've been released, I looked for their Instagrams. I was calling them. I was FaceTiming them. I'm like, is everyone okay? Like, we're just making sure that we found each other. And like, you know, although we're all like friends and civil, I think that there are connections that I'm never going to be able to like break. Like someone like Rob would go with Jonathan, right? Like that would be a tough, like if they should just do an Amazing Race, Big Brother 11 season, and like,
there you go.
pair us
Are
all
the
up, and it would be that would be dramatic.
I would
That would
live.
be so dramatic.
live.
Actually,
Are the girly pops still standing strong?
You know what? Actually, yes. I have
good.
Shania and Claudia are coming this week to Toronto for a month.
Oh, fun.
And
Wow.
Nene is coming to stay here with me on the Friday because their Airbnb doesn't start until Saturday, but she's flying in the day before. So I'm gonna have Nene here and Renee here on Friday.
Wow.
We're gonna do a little sleepover thing, you know.
Oh, I
we'll
love
get her like
that.
all cozy and stuff. But yeah, it's like I perceive it as a one big happy family. Like you don't have to get along with absolutely everybody,
Sure.
and like
Right.
you know, you don't have to sit and you don't have to go out with every single person. But for the most part, I think everyone just gets along.
That's good.
Good. I'm now realizing that we didn't actually get to tell you the rest of that Renee and Vanessa thing. right? So
Right.
Oh.
yeah, we have to circle back. There's like
Yes.
still
Okay.
a
Okay.
little
Take us
bit
back.
more to that. Yeah. So when we were having Zach on, I was planning like another surprise.
Oh.
And I was speaking with Vanessa and I said, how would you like to pop on the stream when we have Zach on? Just pop in, just say hello and confront the person who's been talking crap. And just pop in and just say, hey, I still have more followers than you. Like, what's up? And she originally said she was down, and then the night of she backed out. And I think she got nervous. And I was like, honey, I want to make sure you know, like, we're really safe. Like,
Yeah.
like we're not gonna let this man like come down on you. No pressure. Like, if you're not cool with it, it's fine. Like, we didn't tell anybody else. Like, this was truly going to be a surprise, but that was the plan. I was a little bummed that it didn't happen, but I got
that
it.
would have been
about
so
that.
iconic. Honestly, I'm gonna message her right now and be like, "You probably have regrets, don't you, about this?"
Yeah,
She
we
would be
really
like,
would have
yeah.
had so
She-
much fun.
That
And like,
surprises me. She's so bold. I thought she would have done that.
We're not talking about Vanessa from the season. Vanessa, Renee's sister.
Yes.
yeah, her sister.
Yes.
Yeah, because we just thought it'd be really, really funny because, like, this man was sassing you, and we're gonna have him on to confront him because we had that
Yeah.
other little spat because of John. Like, oh, it's gonna be like so funny.
Oh
But,
my
It would have been
gosh.
so good, man.
It would have been so good. Well, her birthday was just like a couple of days ago. I think both her and Renee fell in the same week. But yeah, she was living her best life when we were out at Soluna for Renee's birthday, and they're just such gorgeous. Like the Mior dynasty is just beautiful. Like, oh my gosh.
I'd love to talk to Renee too.
Oh my gosh,
Renee.
Anytime
We love Renee.
Renee wants to come on here and like just
Renee and her bouquet.
Yes, Renee and her bouquet. A fan actually. Oh man, I have to find it for you guys. But a fan actually counted how many times she said bouquet on the show.
Oh,
and it was like close to like 297 or something like that.
That sounds right. That sounds correct.
I'm like, wow.
I love it. I love it.
That's for sure an accurate number.
Yeah, I went very quickly from I cannot hear her say bouquet one more time to oh my god, I'm living for this.
Yes,
it happened overnight because I was so immediately annoyed, and I'm telling you, and then all of a sudden it switches. Like all of a sudden I'm just obsessed.
I
loved it the
there
whole
was something
time.
about that was like a little bit
good for you. I definitely.
It was like a little bit annoying to me too. And when I first heard it, I'm like, she's not doing that on purpose, right? Like production is telling her to say this,
it's
right?
Like, Renee, stop! You really stop trying to make fetch happen.
Yeah, stop trying to make bouquet happen. But it happened. It happened. Like
happen.
literally, it did happen. And she has like all these like really cute quips, like the Renaissance. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm actually a Renee stan, so like that's
clearly. No, we are too. We are too. Yeah.
Oh my god, I think my dreams would come true if we were talking to both you and her at the same time too.
Oh my gosh!
So
imagine
in the future we'll have to make that happen.
Literally,
John
I can make that happen.
Seeds. John like shoves the seed like right into the soil, immediately
waters it.
Like,
actually,
all of a sudden he has like 3 ring lights. There's like bang, 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 bang. Let's go.
Let's do it. What are you doing next week?
We can make it happen. Honestly, it would be a fantasy to just have all. I think it would be fun to just have everybody. Just like as many of us like on here.
Yeah.
How
How
many people can you host on this?
Yeah, we can host a bunch more.
I think we can have up to 10.
We should do it.
We only want the boozy siblings though. Okay, people who like all right, because we're letting our hair down. Okay, this is a casual conversation.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh my god.
If you're uptight, just stay home. I mean, everyone's home.
Right. If you can't talk about it in a healthy manner, have fun with it, laugh at it.
Right. Then like no thanks.
Maybe you should just turn off the internet.
That is not the energy.
Exactly.
Silly. So silly. So wait, so what else would you play? You would play Survivor? Are you familiar with the challenge? That's not really a thing in Canada, is it?
So there's only one challenge competition that I would be scared of. I'm actually a huge challenge fanboy. I've been watching since Johnny first walked in. Johnny Bananas first walked in.
Oh,
the first Canadian. I have a little crush on Well, I did have a crush on like CT and like Wes. I'm so basic.
Stop,
But
no.
but
we
they
love
just like
CT.
never had like I know his arc.
Who's now?
Right.
CT's arc.
Yeah.
Like from who he was when he first showed up in the show to like, you know, not to speak, you know, ill of it, but like then his divorce happened and everything. And then like afterwards, when he found himself again, I'm like, we're like getting to see this man's journey. And he's a good competitor. Like I love the challenge so much.
And he's honestly like at this phase in his challenge career, he has honestly never been more attractive.
110,000%. If there was a world, if there was a world where CT showed up and was like, "Hey," and I'm like, I already know all your red flags. I already know all your green flags.
Yes,
let's make this happen, baby.
I know you. I don't care.
I would be like the
really
crazy
is,
fan, right?
Yeah,
like I would be the crazy fan.
Though.
Okay, so there's only one challenge competition that I'm scared of, and it's Hall Brawl. I'm just physically so small. Like I'm 5'6" on a good day. Like I'm 5'5". So like, you know, cutting back to Santina being like, you're the physically strongest person. I'm like, okay, no, I'm not. Like literally the shortest boy in this season. But the Hall Brawl is scary. And TJ doesn't joke. Like with these competitions, like there's blood. And that's the only thing. And I know that like I think like I don't think that there is a Canadian version of the challenge, is there?
No. It's just a real shame. A real shame.
Yeah. And I think there's literally only one Canadian that's on there, which is Johnny. But he's like lives in the US now. And that's the only reason why I remember him so well. Because like Johnny Bananas was like so outspoken about being Canadian. I was like, oh, this is like really cool. And I was a big fan of Real World. So like that's where they were pulling from, right? People from the real world, and like that's how you were getting those. And I love the real world. So that was, I would do the challenge.
Kyle feels so validated right now. Look at his face.
Thank God, because I brought the challenge to them. I was like, listen, I don't know how y'all feel
so
about this. The challenge, and like it is amazing. Like the I don't know, the Renaissance.
Yes, like
it is having, because everyone is now on the challenge train, right? It felt like the challenge was like special because it was also that very small, very I don't know, very like almost like elite, very special thing, right? Like no one talked about it. We were all super fans, but no one said anything because it was almost like, oh, you're watching a show on MTV. What are you talking about? Like it had a lot of shame attached to it, right?
I thought it was really cool when I first watched it, and I was getting my sister
thought it was
into
super cool, but no one wanted to talk to me about it. They all were like judging me. They're like, what do you mean, Real World Road Rules Challenge? Like, what is that? And because there was also a spring break one. Do you remember that? That's way back when. There was a janky ass like spring break themed one. And like because the challenge really went through a very silly. Yeah, see, I'm way back. I'm telling you, I'm way back.
Oh my goodness.
I know I'm almost 40. Okay, like I'm old. You know what I mean? Like I'm old school challenge.
You're seasoned.
Yeah, I'm very seasoned. Very seasoned. So there was a lot of shame in the beginning because it was like that MTV trash show. Yeah, and then all of a sudden people started paying attention and putting like Big Brother players in it and Survivor players. It was like, wait, what's happening? All of a sudden people know about this? Wait, it's not just me who watches this? Like, alone?
Yeah, no, I didn't know that like people would go on like Big Brother US just to get on the challenge. Like I think it was someone from 2 seasons ago, like he got the call and he was like, yeah, I only went on Big Brother just to get on the challenge. You're like, we know. Like we scouted you. Like we know that you're getting on there. I'm like, okay, that's crazy. Wow. Like I could never ever beat someone at a physical comp. I would do so well though on a final. Because the finals are never usually like contact, right? I don't think there was ever a final where like you had to like be like competing contact. Like it's usually like a large circuit, like endurance,
once in a while,
mental. Yeah.
For the most part. Once in a while, they'll have one of those like random, like we have an elimination right in the middle of the final. So bottom 2 pairs have to face off or whatever, something like that. But
Right.
that's pretty rare, I think. Still,
Yeah.
I
So
want to know how
I
you
think I
think
do
you do in
really
the
good.
eating challenges, and like if you have to eat like
Bad. Boo.
bugs and stuff. Or
Ooh.
Oh no, so like eating bugs is fine. It's the ones where like they had like this one challenge where it's like you had to finish like X amount of cookies and X amount of milk. I would be puking. Like as long as that's okay, I would do it. Like I have
is.
no mind over matter. Like I have no problem like overcoming those like, game mode on. But yeah, I don't know about like that. Yeah, it's just the physical stuff. I think the physical stuff, there's just simply a disadvantage that I have being a shorter person. That's it. That's all it is. If they can figure out a way to cater to that, like imagine me going up against CT or like Wes or like any of the new players that are on there. There's simply no person that even like I'm sorry, I'm like naming the men, even the women, like they would kick my ass. Like they are so strong and like so smart, and it's a whole new level. I wish I had like the physical making to be on a show like that. Like really, I'm not even kidding. But unfortunately,
But your social game could maybe keep you out of some of
out
those
of the yeah, I guess so. Like everyone would I feel like I could play the heartstrings. Like don't put me
like,
in
leave me
a
alone.
fucking like don't put me
I went
in
out first
elimination.
when I played Big Brother. Like,
yeah. Did you watch?
I was already the first boot. Actually, that's my strategy if I go into All Stars. Like,
right.
don't do this to me. I was already a
Yeah.
first boot once.
Please don't let that be my legacy.
Yes,
Right.
please don't do that to me. Like this is never gonna happen ever again.
Right. So
did you watch any of the Traitors series?
No, but I heard that they're filming a
also-
Canadian one already.
They're filming a Canadian version very soon.
Yes.
But I would absolutely recommend all 3 series that have come out so far. The Traitors Australia, the Traitors
Yes.
UK, and the Traitors US were all phenomenal. And I think that's a show that you would do very well on too, to be honest.
I really have to watch the US one because Rachel Riley is on there. And
yes.
I'm a big Rachel. Okay, so I'll be there's not many things that I watched on Big Brother Canada season 11 that I was like, damn, I wish I was in that house right now. But when Rachel Riley showed up in Final 5,
that's right.
I literally texted my girl, the one that, the people that handle us and make sure that we're safe and all that good stuff. And I'm just like, you guys didn't have this is the straw that broke the camel's back. Like I cannot believe that Rachel made an appearance on my season and I'm not in that house right now. Like I was so devastated. Like going back to her season. So her first season when she left, my mom had me write a email to Allison talking about how they need to bring her back. So if Allison who is like the casting director or the senior producer of Big Brother US. I don't know if she's still doing the US version. If she looked up my email, she could probably find that email of me telling her,
like, no, please bring her back, please.
Literally, and it's like this like long email, like essay of why she needs to return. And she did come back momentarily for the Pandora's Box twist. But then she came back and she won the returnee season with like Dick and Danielle and Jeff and Jordan. So that was really cool. But man,
she was a lot of fun on the Traitors US.
Okay, that's good. That's so exciting.
Yeah. The dynamic between her and like Cody also, who was on from Big Brother was interesting. That was fun.
Okay.
It's definitely a good season. But I would even go as far as to say that the Traitors UK and the Traitors Australia were even better than the US version.
Really?
But the US version was phenomenal. It was Kyle and I talk about this all the time. Like if we had to rate them on a scale of like 1 to 10, like the Traitors US was like 9.4. The Traitors UK was like 9.6, and the Traitors Australia was like 9.8. Like they're that.
Which one's the
good.
original? Australia or
Australia?
UK? Australia. Okay. I'll have to start from there because like I think like it's important to like understand the precedent and like I've seen the premise of the show. Like I've seen like the the commercials and people talking about it too. So I was like, it really intrigued me and I'm like,
I've still only watched the US one. I haven't seen any of the international ones.
Yeah, that's too bad. That's too bad because Traders Australia is definitely superior to all of them because no, it is because there are so many different layers to the gameplay in this game, and you get to see it in this. I'm sorry, I had to run away and tinkle, but I don't want to repeat anything. Did we go over like what the Traders is and exactly how we can play this game and why it's actually one of the best games? Like
we didn't get into the actual like structure of the game. No,
like I hear it's up and coming. Like this is like the new big thing.
This is the new big thing.
Yeah,
yes, it is.
Okay.
What's funny too is that like we actually felt like a lot of the things they did in your season of Big Brother Canada were like with like the murder mystery stuff almost felt kind of traitory. You know what I mean?
Oh, so like Trader-esque, like the whodunit, like
yes,
right.
Okay,
right.
cool. Already loving that.
Yeah. So I mean, the gameplay is actually so. I mean, you have the Traders and you have the Faithful.
Okay.
Right? So production chooses the Traders. All right, and this is done after everyone meets each other. Right. So they kibitz. They have blind, right. They sit down. They put on their blindfolds, and the host walks around and selects 3 to 4 Traders, depending on the cast size. And from here, so the Traders have to keep themselves a secret, right? So the game is to make sure you get to the end as a trader, and you're playing these challenges. You're playing these challenges as you go along, and you're growing the team pot. If a trader makes it to the end, they win everything. If the Faithful make it to the end, they split whatever is in the team pot. Gotcha. So the game is to make sure you're eliminating Faithful by way of a vote. This vote is public. Right. So everyone is saying like, yes, I am, and you have to like say who you're voting for and say why. So I am voting out Gina because blah, blah, blah. So like, I mean, you can just imagine the chaos that ensues. So that's just the one part of the game. Later on in the evening, the Traders meet in secret and they discuss who they'd like to murder. And they eliminate one person. Yeah, they just eliminate another person. Like that's it. They're just gone. They don't get to say goodbye.
Yeah, just nothing. At breakfast, everyone finds out together who got murdered the night before. It's just great.
Yeah, everybody enters the breakfast room one by one, and then you find out who was murdered the night before. So there's so many different ways like to play this game, right? Because obviously you want to be the last remaining trader. Right, because you want all this money for you. So eventually you have to try and make moves against them, make sure they get the hell out of here. But like you can't swing and miss because the vote's public. And you're gonna see them that night when now you discuss who's next to murder. So there's so many different layers to this game that are it's just so much fun to watch. And you get to see a lot of it. In the Australian one, you get to see people playing both sides. You get to see traders making moves against each other. You just get to see it all.
That's so interesting. Like I think like when you're like being
so good. It's so
exposed like that, definitely adds a different layer. Because like the mole, right? Like I watched the mole and the mole's voting system. So the mole's voting system, like actually confused like it confused me like, and that's why I say voting system with quotations confused me up until like Avery's eviction. I say eviction, but like when Avery got eliminated,
right? Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah,
also.
I said
that's what we do too.
Everything is a DR. Everything is eviction.
But when
we're like, that's it. We're BB at heart. Just get into
the
it.
foundation of like what it is now. But when Avery got eliminated, I was like, oh, I get it now. Because it's like, it's not very, I don't want to say not clear because I'm obviously like a dumb bitch. Like I don't understand everything like right as they come. But like I was so confused at first. I was like, wait, but like then how do you know how many kids someone has and like how is that all playing out? But I guess like
Right.
well, I mean, being in that house, like, I mean, I can only explain I can always take like my experience and like, you know, how would that play into it? Like, you would know, right? Like, you would be in there and you would understand everyone's background stories and all these things. But like, it wasn't until that, because Avery didn't leave until like what? Final 5, final 4?
It was pretty late.
Something
It was
like
pretty
that, yeah.
late,
I want to say
right?
4.
4, right? So, and she was like, I wanted her to win because I was like, she has to be. Like, I was convinced that she was the mole. Like, I don't know how about anyone else, but I was convinced Avery was the mole. And so I was like, oh, she is so good. But then she got too much DRs in her episode. I'm like, she's going home. She's going home. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way that someone's getting this much screen time.
Yeah.
And like, just, yeah, going home. I was at one point also convinced that, oh my gosh, you guys had him last week on
Jacob.
Jacob. I was convinced that
Jacob
Jacob was the mole at first. Like, he was my very first choice. I'm like, it's Jacob.
I feel like
Yeah,
I had
There
a
was
similar
a piece of me
feeling.
that thought it was Jacob too.
Yeah, there's like something about this man's that this is like, this is no. You cannot be this good looking. And no. And well put together, no. He just knows a little too much. And when he got evicted, when he got eliminated, I was like jaw drop.
Oh.
I was like, I'm like,
Well, like, now
oh
what?
my gosh. Like, because I think like the best part of the mole is that you as a viewer are playing the game too.
Yes.
And you have the comfort of not getting
Yes.
eliminated. Like, I don't like.
But that's what I love about it. It's so much fun to play along. Even like we love those like the HOH competitions on Big Brother where it's like you get to play while you're watching it too. Because like those like quick like watch the video or whatever. Like I love being able to play.
Absolutely. I like, who knows, maybe the mole would be a really fun one. I know we asked what I would love to get into. I would love to do the mole. I know they just are filming or finished filming season 2, but
right.
Yeah,
just filming.
Yeah, they're just filming season 2.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to watch that and get into
I'm so
that.
excited.
But who knows, season 3 will maybe make an appearance. I think that would be
There you
really
go.
cool. It would be so much fun, but everyone would be like, I'm the mole. But that's the best part, is that it's not by it's not by vote of eviction.
Right.
It's actually based off of, do you have, like, are you getting enough of these answers correct to be pinpointing who the actual mole is?
Right. And if you're actually not the mole,
which
it's
is
just fine if they think that you are.
And it goes back to like, so the people that I'm close with outside of the Big Brother 11 fam, the 11s, I call them. It was, so the popular opinion was that if I didn't get evicted first week, that it would have been really hard to get me out of the game. But I was like, if that invisible HOH competition took place while I was in the house, everyone would have thought it was me. Period. That would have been my demise. Like, there was no way I was going to be able to shake off any sus on me. Like, because everyone was already like on my case from week 1. Like, that would have been the like. So I think I'd be a perfect candidate for the mole. I'd just be like, you know, nonchalant. Like, I don't even think I'm the mole. I'm just gonna do like mole-esque things. But then everyone's gonna be like, wait, maybe he is the mole, but I'm like, actually the mole. But like, oh, you'll never know. You'll never know until the finale. You will never know.
Exactly.
How are they gonna know?
Gotcha.
I love it.
So ridiculous. Wait, so did you actually get a chance to do your 2 truths and a lie?
I did not.
You did
Okay,
not.
I
So
wrote
that's
mine
fine
down.
then. Forget it.
Do you want me to do it?
No, I was. Oh, that's what I meant. Like, did you have?
Oh
a
no,
chance
I
to put,
did.
like,
I did. I
some
wrote it
together?
down. I just haven't done it
Oh.
for you guys yet.
Oh, okay. Oh, right.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay.
I was like, oh no, all right. Because I messaged him this at like 8 o'clock. I was like, oh, by the way,
I know you're so
that could
sweet.
be
It's
fun.
like pretending like you don't know that I'm a people pleaser and that I wouldn't have gone out of my way to make sure I had it ready for you.
I was like, well, it could be fun.
Okay,
If
so
not, fine.
I have 2 truths and a lie. Okay, so my
Okay.
first one,
Mhm.
my first truth or a lie is I can be found on IMDb, and you can actually find me on Disney Plus, where I play a character that gets kidnapped and escapes. Okay, so that's my first.
I was gonna say, I feel like
know.
that's so specific.
So specific. Okay, so my number 2 is so I'm currently a project manager, but I'm not working, so I'm looking for a job. And I work in fintech. I have a bachelor's degree in computer science. Okay, that's my second one. And my third one is I was nominated to be in the architectural union when I was in school for architectural science. And that was at TMU now. It used to be Ryerson, but they found out that he was like a really bad person. So they changed the university name to MTU or something like that. So anyways.
I know
So
that's
that's
the
also
problem.
very specific.
Oh,
actually.
They're all
Got
very
it.
specific.
What was
So
the first one again?
is-
The Disney Plus kidnapping.
Yes, so I could be found on IMDb,
Oh.
and you can actually find me on Disney Plus, where I play this character that gets kidnapped and escapes. It's like this little Rambo moment. It's funny. You're getting you guys are what you're feeling right now is actually what everyone felt in the house. Like just the mind games that I would play with everyone.
I'm stressed.
So this is you're simulating. I'm simulating.
Right, this is why you went home.
I'm simulating the feeling that I made everyone feel.
Oh God.
God.
I don't even.
I'm gonna say
I'm going to say the one that is untrue is A.
So Kyle says
I'm gonna
A.
say
No Disney Plus. No
I'm
Disney
gonna say
Plus
the
kidnapping.
one that is untrue is C, the last option.
C. Okay. And Gino, what are your thoughts?
I also kind of feel like Disney Plus is the lie, but I don't. I'm gonna say A.
I know, it's so
You're gonna
specific.
say A.
Yeah.
None of you
None
got
of
it
us are right.
right.
It's B.
Oh, the only one we didn't pick.
Honestly, the only one I believed was A. I was between
Because
B
it
or
was so
C.
specific.
So I'm a project manager, but I don't have a degree in computer science. I actually have a diploma in acting for film, television, and the theater.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Hell
I
yeah.
found myself in corporate
Okay.
Canada. Like, I don't know, sat on the right lap, and now I'm a project manager. So it was it's a good time. But yes, actually, it's funny. Something that I'm not allowed to. Or they told me like to remove all the posts about it, like being like I'm actually like an actor. Like I used to do all that stuff. Like I had like the whole
Really?
shebang. Like I had an agent that I was working with and all
Hell
that
yeah.
good stuff. Yeah, it was crazy. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. Full circle.
Wait, so,
So
what
where
were
can
what
we
were you
watch?
in on Disney Plus?
Where
Yeah.
can we watch
Okay,
your
so-
attempted kidnap
okay.
and escape?
Okay, here's like something even crazier. Okay, so I don't know if you guys knew, but I was actually a finalist for season 10 of Big Brother Canada. I was like in sequester, like
Oh, wow.
literally in sequester
Yeah,
with
yeah.
them, and then I got the phone call, and they're like, "Right person, not the right season." That's what they said, and I'm like, "All right, back to reality." And then so I got in this time, and so season 11. So the episode, so it's a show called Locked Up Abroad. I think it's like a dramatization of like these like like those stories where you hear like, oh, like you get a free trip to Miami, but you have to take like this suitcase with you, and it's like cocaine and like the suitcase, and then they get like caught and all these things. So it's like that, but I play this kid who goes to the Philippines with his mom and gets kidnapped by Abu Sayyaf, which is like a terrorist group there. And like I'm like essentially entrapped for like 2-3 months, and then I escape. And I have like this whole like Rambo moment. It's crazy. We filmed in the Philippines, like actually flew out to the. It was really cool. And it's really funny because it was on season 10, episode 11 of the series. And if you like, you know, it's like so like being a finalist in season 10 and getting in season 11 was just like made that connection after the show. I was like, it's kind of weird. Someone pointed it out. It wasn't me. I'm not that smart. But someone else pointed that out, and I was like, oh, that is really interesting. So there was actually a moment in time where I really was pursuing acting as like a very, like, as like my career. The money's just like simply not there. Like it's
so hard, man.
It's not like you don't become an actor for the money. And you know, should you ever be blessed by Hollywood and you get chosen to become a Marvel character, then you know, thank your lucky stars. But like you don't get into it for money, right?
No,
like,
I feel your pain. Yeah.
Like you do it for the passion, and everything else is just icing on top. How I found myself in my current career, 5 years ago, I had this kind of like fork in the road where I got casted for something in Toronto that was like off Broadway. But like here in Toronto, it's very, once you get in the theater scene, you're set. Because that's like everyone just like throws your name around. Like literally, if you go to any show, it's the same people, like basically in every single show, because it's everyone's friends. Just like, oh, I know a guy, Kyle, who could do this, and that's like, you know, John can do this, and Gina. Like it's just you throwing out people's names, and I love that. And I had that like for me 5 years ago, but I made this like very life-changing decision that I'm like, no, I can't live this life because I really want to. I foresaw like, you know, a very fruitful path when it came to like sticking to a corporate job, and my mentor Lawrence, who like just took me places, like literally I can't thank him enough for like everything that I've learned and what I got to do. That was really what set me apart. So, you know, in a different universe, I would be an actor right now. Like in who knows, I probably would not get on Big Brother. Because I don't know. Actually, I don't know if that would have affected my chances of getting on Big Brother. I think it would have been very interesting. Because how many actors do you see on Big Brother?
I mean, Tommy Bracco is the only one that really comes to mind. You know?
Right. See, it's like in reality TV, like they don't look for. I feel like that's like maybe a red flag. I don't know. I don't talk to production like that. Like
it's funny now. It's funny now too. Seeing we were talking about CT before, who's been a challenge mainstay, and now he's trying to break into acting, and I think he has.
I hope he does. I hope he takes over the Mission Impossible franchise. Anything that requires him to be shirtless, running,
and just running and
sweaty. Like, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I approve. Whoever needs the funding, I will take out the loan for you. Like we'll get this done.
Yeah, auto pay.
We will go through Affirm, which is.
So ridiculous.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, actually it's funny. I used to work with the Affirm team way back in the day. It was a good time through another company. So that's the only reason why I know that. I'm like, how does a Canadian know what Affirm is? I'm like, yeah, I know. I know the good life.
Tip of your tongue.
I have to make sure I do one thing because we don't stream all that often on Mondays anymore. Do you watch Celebrity Big Brother, John Michael, at all? Have you seen our?
I was trying to watch the newest one or the most recent one with Omar Todrick.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I just couldn't. I could not. Like I couldn't digest it.
did you get as far into it as the Manwan Monday twist?
No.
We do
No.
Monday. That was Monday.
It was just
What is that?
get to the Manwan Monday. It was just
Yeah,
Manwan.
it is just really Manwan. But so Manwan was this designer bag. There was a designer named Manwan who designed this bag, and it was also it doubled as a hat, and everyone had to pass this hat around. It almost was kind of like a chain of safety, similar to what they had in Big Brother Canada 11.
Oh, this is a thing on the show.
It was on Celebrity Big Brother. It was a purse, a handbag designed by Manwan. Yes, it had to be passed around, but it doubled as a hat.
Right. And we found out later that if you turned this hat upside down, it said "nom now," and it gave the person to nominate somebody right away. But so Kyle and I really loved the Manwan twist, and Gina hated it. So we turned our Monday nights. We turned our Monday nights of streaming into Manwan Mondays, and I made this just for Gina. Yeah, I made this just for Gina, and she still continues to be very mean. But I'm gonna play it. It's Manwan Monday. So that's
continues to be very mean.
Yeah,
you're very mean. You won't have a good time.
Wow.
He really hates it. We did a really bad job.
I did a really bad job.
It was a handbag.
So you just had to flip the handbag.
So it was a handbag. Well, it said Manwan on the front, right? And everybody, so originally the handbag was just passed around and no one knew what this was. Whoever landed with the handbag was now safe for the week, right? But they had to wear the handbag as a hat, right? So they looked very silly. It was like the celebrity version of like the costume twist, right? Then at the end of this, they had to take the hat off and they ripped the label off via Velcro that they didn't know was Velcro. And you turn it around and Manwan becomes a nom now. And then you had to pass it around again. And then so it was like a safety chain, but reversed.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was very fun.
Very interesting. Oh god, that was a good twist in our season. Not a good twist because it's obviously a repeat from season 10, not 9. Yes, 10. But like the production value of the Fatal Feast,
very
juicy,
very
juicy.
Yeah,
juicy, and it looked very Traitors too. I remember us talking about that. We were like, "This is
even the table."
Traitors.
Even the table they were sitting around.
Yeah, it was really juicy. And you know what? I was doing a live. I was kind of going unhinged on Twitter, but yes, I was doing live reactions on Twitter, and I did guess the number, and I would have beat my fellow castmates. Had I been in that house when that happened, damn. Oh, God, I really had it. I really could have won.
There are so many things that I wish you were still in there for. I wish you were still in there for Wafflegate. I wish you were still
I
in there
would have been floored.
Yeah,
if Wafflegate happened in front of me, I would have been floored. Yeah. Like, oh my gosh, I just would not be. I wouldn't know how to react. Like again, like I would have just been like, this is a simulation, right? Like she's a paid simulation at this point. like this is like these are like the waffles are paid actors. Like I don't understand how this is all happening. Like that's how I would have reacted. Like any of that drama, like even when like I got nominated, I just walked away. I was just like, I thought of like so many different things to say, and I just was like, nope, I represent too much. My parents are watching this. I can't freak out on everybody right now. I have to I was also like respecting Big Brother too. Like, usually like no one really freaks out during like a nomination ceremony. No one does those things. And so I was like trying to be respectful of that, but like, oh man, if I had to rewind time, I would have like in that moment, like imagine me up that stairs, like just that power dynamic, me up that stair and going like, I hope you know how to do clown makeup because these boys are gonna make a fool out of you. Like, oh, that would have been good, but it wouldn't have it would not have made sense for the way that they were portraying.
Sure.
I don't know if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
I kind
No,
of like,
it does.
I was like,
it does.
yes,
doesn't
it would
fit
have
the
like,
storyline.
it would have, I think it would probably turn people off more versus like, yes, get him. Like, you know, yeah, they call her the freaking Twink Destroyer now. Like,
Oh,
I'm like, really?
Oh my god.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, she is the Twink Destroyer. I am said Twink. Yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time. It's a bitter pill to swallow,
Holy
but
shit.
here I am.
Well, hopefully you get another chance to
Oh,
play
hell
this
yeah.
game again. So you can
Yes, I
redeem
think it would be
yourself
really
for
fun.
it. Yeah.
I think the best part about it is that like I really wasn't playing like a slimy game. So should it be an all-stars, let's all just manifest it, right? The law of attraction to anybody listening, just think about it. Just if we all think about it, if 3 or more people are thinking about it, it'll happen, right? Season 12, Big Brother Canada All-Stars. And like I just like I
put it
wouldn't
out
have
there,
anything to
out there.
hide. I would literally like walk up to anybody who gets cast in that and be like, you know what I'm all about? You want a loyal person? I'm that person. Period. Like, but had I
Sweet.
been in the house longer, I probably would have turned into a menace. So I don't know. I don't know. It would yeah. I would love to see all sorts of players. Like imagine being in the same house with like people like Erica Hill. I know that Aiko would never do it again, but like my gosh, like Aiko Wong in that house. That would be so
My
iconic. It
gosh.
would, yeah.
I love
She's like some of my castmates have met her and like spoken to her, and I'm just like, I hate you guys. I hate you guys so much.
Oh,
yeah,
I'm so
they were like,
jealous.
oh, you got invited to this fancy event, and she happened to be there. Oh, must be nice. Must be nice, Renee and Kuzi. But yes, no, I
Your time is coming.
Yes.
Your time is coming.
I hope
They're not done with you. You're
I
gonna get to
appreciate
come back.
that. Yes, you know what?
Yeah.
You're right. I affirm this.
You are. Yes.
Yes, I'm
You have to
claiming
claim it. All right. If it's out there, you have to grab it. Yes, it's yours. Take it.
It
All right, it's
is. Oh my
late.
gosh, it's past my bedtime.
Yeah, we've been talking a long time.
Yes.
It's because you're just so wonderful.
No,
But
it
this is the
Monday.
thing, like I
A
could
long
just
time,
talk
but a
for
good time.
hours.
Yes. No, this is
Yeah.
a really great time. Thank you for
Yeah.
finally hanging out with
No,
us.
I appreciate it. Like I wish this has happened sooner. I wish we could have talked about the season as it was going, but you know,
No.
Well, if you want to,
We can talk about Big
Yeah,
Brother
that's
25.
true.
That's
if
gonna
you want
be-
to join us for other
100%. 100%. Sign me up.
Yeah,
Book
that
my
would be a lot
calendar.
of-
I'm there. You guys are so much fun. I appreciate you guys so much. I feel super safe. Like anybody
I love
who
that.
is going to be part of new seasons or anyone who wants to express themselves, Strat Chat is 100% the place to be. Kyle,
Oh, that's so
John, Gina, thank you
nice.
guys so much for just like letting me be myself. Like I know all the shade, all the tea this session, but like I think I just have fun talking about it, you know. And thank you for not making it like, I don't know, some people can make it pretty grimy, like talking about Big Brother and just like, ooh.
No,
Absolutely.
we want to have fun. We just love this show, and we want to talk about it with people
Yeah.
who love it like we
Yes.
love it. And that's why we were so excited to talk about it with you specifically, because it's like, oh no, we just know this is going to be fun. That's why you were like, oh, what are we talking about? And I was like, we're talking about everything and nothing at the same time. Like we're just
Absolutely
hanging out.
roll with
and,
the
like,
punches. That's the best part about
Thank you.
podcasts.
Yeah.
And you know, Strat Chat like this, like it doesn't have
Yeah.
to be structured. It can just be,
right.
oh my gosh,
That's
look
what we-
who's here, Daniel Clark.
No way, huh?
Daniel C, you better be next.
Just
No
not even a
way.
full high, just an
We can't afford the full high, guys. Like it's just an H. That's all we get. That's all we
Not
get
even-
from
No
him.
way.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
Awesome.
Daniel C, I'm signing you up next week. You and I here. Okay.
Hell yeah.
yes. Let me know. Let me know. Have a glass of wine or 3.
Oh, that's so funny. That's that. Daniel C. Oops, not me selling myself out. But I'm so glad that you said that,
So
John
funny.
Michael, too, because like this is like we talk about this all the time, Kyle and Gina and I, how like we want this to be the place that like people want to come and hang out, just talk. We know that you
Yeah.
guys are constantly going on other podcasts where you're getting these rigid, structured questions like, why did this happen in the house? Why did this person say that? Why did this person do that? But like we want you to just be able to come here and like hang out and feel comfortable and talk about whatever the hell you want to talk about. So
Absolutely. Like it's like
Yeah, and we still want the tea
Sure,
now. We
sure.
still want the tea,
yes.
like, we still
I
here to
know,
have a
like
good
it's
time.
like
Oh, yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
But, like,
it's
no,
like
sage,
tragic in
please,
some
sage.
ways where like the hype really died down so fast because like with the lack of, and I'll go on record with this, like with the lack of live feeds, it's like so hard to talk about it because it's like it's almost
Right.
like hearsay, and I get that. I
Yeah,
Right.
100% get that, but I think like even us, like you should see. I mean, I would never show you the group chat, but you should see. You should see the stuff that we talk about. I'm just like, wow, like this is like we need to unpack this. Like this is like, if imagine as players, right? This is how we felt about certain things as audience, like even like the die hard lovers of Big Brother not hearing this stuff. I'm like, oh, they're just
Right.
being like robbed of this like narrative and this perspective of like what's happening in this game, because like even like my parents, right, who aren't on Twitter, who aren't like watching the live feeds or the digital dailies, they don't look at that stuff. It's simply because they don't have the time to or know how to access that stuff. They also have like all these like different questions about like, why did this happen? Like even like the whole like,
Right.
just like even when dynamics change and all these things, like there's so much to like unpack from the season, and it's so unfortunate that like this one decision really affected the way that things panned out at the end. But honestly, had so much fun with you guys, and I'm sure this isn't going to be, I mean, I hope this isn't going to be the last time I get to sit
You can
here.
come on whatever
And-
you want.
yeah, you are always
No.
welcome. Always
Let's
welcome.
just talk about nothing. You know what? I'm gonna do my homework. I'm sniffing what you guys are stepping on. I'm gonna go watch some Traders, and
Absolutely.
I'm gonna go
Yes,
from there.
please.
And I'm just gonna blow your guys in DMs and just like, oh
Do
my
it.
gosh, this
Please
is
do.
crazy. This is psycho.
Yes.
Please do. Please do. Where can everybody else find you on the social?
Oh
so they
my
can
goodness.
Slide in yours. Because I know you have like some underscores in some
Yes,
of these. Like, I don't know, it's very
honestly.
hard. I just start typing it's.
I know, like
it would pop up.
like the best place to find me is on Instagram, ITS John Michael. It's John Michael. Like that's like where you can. If I don't respond to you, it's usually because one, I'm really actually busy, or two, I don't know how to respond to you in that moment. Like I never actually ignore someone. Like I look at some of these messages and I'm just like, how do I even respond to this? Like I had
Uh-huh.
someone tell me, like, okay, this is like, here's some tea. I had only one friend. Okay. I had some weird reactions after the show, but I had only one friend that was like, oh, like fame has gotten to you. All you do is hang out with random people now. And I'm just like, how do I respond to this? What do
You
I
don't.
do? What do I
There's
do
nothing
with
to
this?
say to that. Like, there wasn't a question; it was a comment.
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
like-
okay.
Like,
I'm like,
if
this
you-
is like a good friend too. Like this is someone who I thought I was going to be friends with after this whole journey that I had. I'm just like, that's just like the utter shock of like all of this. And like, don't even get me started about dating. Like I can't even get on an app without being in Toronto. They like the gays love reality TV. And
Of course.
I made the choice to download Grindr again.
Yikes.
It was on my phone for maybe 6 hours, and
That
it's
checks
been
out.
deleted again.
That checks
It's
out.
overwhelming. Like it's actually so overwhelming that these people know you,
Mm.
and like I'm just so scared. So, anyways, if you know anybody who's looking to date in Toronto, I'm also, I wouldn't say very single. Like I'm pretty independent, but wouldn't mind a drink or two.
Okay, okay.
Specifically rosé.
Yeah, down to have a conversation.
There you go.
Yes, especially if they're Big Brother fans. That's the thing, right? Like, if they're a Big Brother fan and you want to talk Big Brother, like, just not my Big Brother. Like, don't talk about me. Like,
Right,
right.
You did
Because
that
it's
already.
weird, right? Like, imagine someone coming up to you and being like, Gina, I watched you all
Yeah,
season.
no.
And yes,
That's
yes,
so
yes.
funny.
I love how we're trying to like Kyle's trying to sign out, and I'm here giving you like the Italian goodbye. You know, when like, everyone's like trying to leave, and I'm like, do you guys want coffee? I'm gonna order coffee. I'm bringing out the cappuccino machine. It's very Filipino as well. Like, oh my gosh, it's so like everyone's like getting ready to go, and then someone brings out the green tea. Someone orders another pizza. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, no, the goodbyes last an hour and a half.
Yeah, we're gonna be
least.
here forever.
It's fine. That's fine. It's fine with me.
I'm really only trying to steer it that way because I have to pee again. And I was just like, you know what? We're almost at 2 hours. It sounds like a time where
man.
people would be ready to wrap up anyway. I thought I could mask it.
I love that.
Now you kind of sold me down the river. I don't understand how you don't have to pee. Like, what is happening?
You know, see if you break, I think if you break the what's it
seal?
called? When
Just
you
break the seal.
When you break the seal, then you have to keep going. So you
Right,
like,
but
you
there
know?
was no version of me that could have continued before. It's like I have to. When I was like, John just started a whole new conversation. This is the moment. I was like, it has to be right now.
True. That is
Please.
true.
Yeah.
You know what, Kyle? It's just simply not my journey. You know, it's,
No.
you know when you like
We
don't
were on the
understand
same
something or
yeah.
you know when you don't, you know, it's just not my journey. Like that's I've been really preaching that to like, you know, I look at Renee as like my little sis, and I just like love her to bits, and we'll like just be talking about everything, and I'm just like, you know, it's not our journey. Like, you know, when you get like so invested in something and something's consuming you, it's like, wait, that's not my journey. That's like literally not my
It's not
journey.
it.
So like, it's not it. That's not my journey.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about like, you know, whatever. I like talking about boy problems. I'm just like, men will embarrass you. Quote Kuzi. Like, men will embarrass you. And you know, a boy just does something, and I'm just like, it's just not my journey. I don't. No.
I like that.
It's not your journey.
No, it's not my journey.
No. I'm on an entirely different path.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
Sorry. I see that felt like an end.
Yes. See, I was
Yes.
giving you an opportunity
Yes.
because I'm actually, this is now Strat Chat. This is JM's Strat Chat
Yes.
channel.
Yeah.
And I've actually taken over.
and honestly, it's been a great time.
Uh-huh.
But I think it's over. But
It is. It's over, but not done.
Mhm.
right.
Yes.
The night is over.
Don't leave right
Exactly.
after don't leave right after we close out, just so we can say a proper goodbye, you know.
Okay, no, I will. Yeah, that would be weird. I will stay on as long as we need to, for sure.
Yeah, every now
For
and
sure.
then, like,
Okay, but I
somebody
do
does
have
that
one question. Okay, seriously,
stuff.
if it's someone that I can get on from my season that you guys want on here, who do you guys want me to
Oh
convince?
my
I mean, I'm
God.
gonna convince everybody, but that one person.
One, that's like an
And-
impossible question. How can I possibly
no.
unpack that?
I mean,
Um,
I have two that come to mind instantly.
It's probably the same two I'm thinking of.
They're Kuzi and Renee.
Mm.
Okay, I can make that happen. You know, Kuzi is back
And
to work,
Daniel
and
C
she is-
also. Daniel
and
C also, if
she
he's still watching.
is- Kuzi's like super actually busy. Like it's weird. My FaceTimes are like either 2 a.m. with her or like 7 in the morning. So yes, but I can probably get Renee on here. I can make it happen.
There's so many people.
God, I know, and there's so many different reasons, and this is in no order. That's why this is not.
Just go through the order of evictions.
But like, you know, but people not mentioned already, because I would love to talk to all of them. But I also want to throw Jonathan on this list. Okay.
Jonathan.
Okay,
Jonathan.
noted.
Yeah, I really love Jonathan so much. And like, I don't know, like, and I took a real beating on Twitter because of something I tweeted about him. And I said,
Oh, that's right.
yeah.
And I got dragged into that too.
Yeah, that was really, I got trolled hard because I basically had just said that I thought it was very, very cool that the people he had noted at one time were the people that he trusted the most in the house were basically all people of color.
Oh my gosh,
And
I saw that. I'm pretty sure I liked that tweet.
Yeah, and a lot of people did like it, but a lot of people did not like that I mentioned this, and they were like very upset that like, why are you bringing race into the conversation? And it's like, all right, well, whether
Because
you
it's
wanted to be
always
part of,
part of the conversation.
exactly, whether you wanted to be part of the conversation or not, it is, and it's like, so what I was trying to do here was like just. I'm pointing out the fact that like if we saw some problematic behavior, we would definitely call it out. So if we see something good, like why can't we celebrate that too? And then
Amen.
and then people were telling me that I was just looking for white validation, and I just got burned up. So I was
It
like,
was
oh my God.
wild. I forgot about that.
Yeah, it was really, really crazy for like a good like week and a half. And I was like, I am like almost regretful that I even said anything. I thought I was being positive and I got ripped. And then John got ripped for supporting me. It was just a disaster.
The response. Luckily, the response was overwhelmingly positive.
It was mostly
overall
positive,
tweet.
yeah. But like the ones that were negative were just so like
so loud,
passionate, and venomous about it. Like they weren't just like
that's a good word, venomous.
Yeah, it was venomous. Yeah, because it wasn't just like, excuse me, we're not down for this. No, it was just like you were just like coming for me.
Yeah,
and it was like, what is this? Like, why are you so angry?
That's gonna be my word of the month for August. My word of the month. My word of the month for July is geriatric. So it's already. But why? I don't know. Like it's just like so much more fun to say than old. It's like. Yeah, when I found out that it wasn't ableist, I was like, yeah, I'm using this. It's just a scientific term for old. Geriatric.
Yeah. Right.
I love it. It's a good word.
It's a good word. I'm just surprised that that's like
it's a girthy word.
Like word of the month.
Word of the month.
It's
like,
yeah.
It's not really a word
no.
that I would come into contact with often. Like,
you're gonna make it work. Trust me. Trust me. Like you're gonna find a way to use it this week. It's a Monday. You've got a long week ahead.
All right, I have all week to see where I can work geriatric into a conversation. I'm like, why you keep saying geriatric? Like, it's the word of the month.
The word of the month.
Literally, the word of the month.
You're weird for not doing it.
Yeah, and then August is going to be venomous.
Geriatric
July. So stupid.
Oh my God.
Well, I will spread the word. I will definitely spread the word of Strat Chat. And we'll see. I think everyone is also just excited to talk about the experience too, right? So like I think once they see like, hey, it's not actually like to attack your game. It'll be like really fun for to get everyone on here.
Here's the thing. There's no version of us that's going to be attacking anyone's game, because at the end of the day, I also understand it doesn't matter how much of the live feed, the digital dilly dallies I watch, I still don't know this situation like you do. Right. Yeah. So I can have my opinion and I might be passionate on Twitter, but at the end of the day, it's like I wasn't in there. So like I can only ask you questions that I just want to know about your perspective, because that's an experience I'll never get to have. So like there's no attacking a game. Like you made the decision that you thought was best for you. Like, how could I tell you it wasn't right? I wasn't in it. Like
100%.
How do I know?
100%. Like, and even like just seeing the, what I've witnessed and being part of this experience, like I think people say like, oh, you only see 50% of it. I'm like, actually, I think you only see maybe 20% of like what happens. Yeah. Like there are even times where, even when I was like fresh out of the house and decisions were being made, even with Rob, I was like, where did this all come from? Like, I was almost like I had to piece everything together myself with the knowledge that I knew of people in the house to understand like where this whole backdoor situation came from, where it arose. And it wasn't until everyone was out that explained to me, like, this is what actually happened and what went on. And Rob explaining to me his perspective. And I'm like, wow. That's like not what I got from watching it, which, it's, I mean, we have 45 minutes to like capture what happened in,
right.
So it's not enough time.
Especially with no feeds.
Another
especially with no feeds.
Right.
We have no feeds. We're seeing such a small, curated little portion of what's actually happening in there.
Yeah.
I'm just thankful they don't have me in there sleeping. They don't have like any foot pics. Like that was like one of my big no's. I'm like, no feet. Like I'm not giving. Like I literally made an absolute effort to be in socks or my Crocs or like I
love that.
I would like after a shower, lotion, pop a sock on. Like there was no opportunity to get any feet pictures.
Not for free.
Absolutely. Not for free.
Not for
Absolutely
free.
not. $150 at least. At least. These puppers look cute, okay? Like absolutely
I'm
not.
just surprised that that's such a thing because people are always talking about that. Like, what? Like feet?
Oh my gosh, like people like I have not at all like entertained my DMs. And when I say DMs, like and people like sending me pictures of like me in the house or like pits, and I'm just like, I get like I like no shame, like I'm not a kink shamer, like you know you get off on what you get off, but I'm like wow, like it was like a snippet of me like lifting my arm up because I was looking at shirts, and I'm like wow, like this is intense, like this is intense. And to think that as a person who is trying to pursue, like let's say like this is the love of my life, like actually in my DMs showing me these pictures of me with my pits out, and I'm just like this is not going to be effective at all. Like I think that you maybe have to recalculate the effectiveness of your methods here. You
it's
know?
not even about kink shaming though. It's more about the fact that like you're really taking stills and zooming in for that. Like it's
I
like,
know.
there's one thing if you're into it. It's a whole other thing to like to go to such lengths.
I know. I'm pretty sure this shot is of me literally crying too. Like, I'm like crying about something, and it's like something. I'm like, anyways. So yeah, dating is pretty weird right now.
Yeah, it's like, what do you say to that text message?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't look into it. Like
Right.
it's part of the. I don't know if you guys knew. There's like this. There's like your DMs, then there's like the requests that
The
you get
messages.
Yeah.
on Instagram,
Yeah.
and then there's like the weird messages. I think like Instagram has
yeah.
like this thing where if it's like it feels that it's like not appropriate for you to see, it like hides it. So you actually have to like scroll
There's like the
down
request and then the
hit
hidden request.
the hidden, yes,
Yeah.
yes. See, Gina knows. Gina knows.
I got
Gina
you, I got you.
knows.
Yes.
So it's those ones that I'm like, why does this exist? Like, why is this? No. Anyways, it's cute. The attention is cute. Whatever. I mean, they have to make 7 figures to land me anyway. So.
Boo.
Just kidding. I'm totally
There you
kidding.
go.
I'm totally kidding.
At least they're paying attention at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
It's better
That's
than
true.
nothing. It's better than zeros all the time. My notifications.
At least they're paying attention.
Right? It's like, hey, thanks for noticing. Like, I guess.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, thank you so much. I do have pits. They're required when you have arms.
They're part of it.
They're part of my body. So no, it's great. It's great. Some of them are like really good looking too, and it's like really hard. I don't know. Just the internal conflict.
Yeah.
But I'm
It's
also
probably
scared
better.
because like if you entertain someone, then like my fear is like you entertain it and then you like drop it off and then they start like exposing your DMs. I'm like, no, too much. See, like when you get into that, like it just reminds you of like no matter how
Yeah.
good looking someone is DMing you, like you never know. You never
It's a
know.
risk.
You never know. Maybe in a year, maybe when things have actually died down, like when I go to Woody's in Toronto and no one recognizes me, then like, okay, I think it's safe to get back on these dating apps. But for now, no.
It might be for a little while longer than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just don't respond. Just meet people in person for real.
Yeah, I saw that there's a speed dating like service in Toronto.
Okay.
I might do it. You might see it on my TikTok.
I'm
Just
not
me
on TikTok.
crying after like
Oh no.
it's just me crying. Hey guys, emotional title, like emotional trigger warning. It's me like crying about my speed dating experience in Toronto.
I might pay attention to TikTok just for that.
Right.
Just for that. I had given up on the TikTok a few months ago. I didn't even put it on my new phone, but maybe now I would give it another go. Just for that.
Just for that. Just
Yeah,
for
you'll
that.
have to
content.
let me know when this is.
Yeah. Kyle's had a rough time on TikTok, but
Yeah.
A little bit too old for TikTok.
we'll get him back on there for that for your
Yeah, do it.
your speed
It'll-
dating.
I could put on my
Yes.
spectacles and give it another gander.
Yeah, it's gonna be like speed dating part 1 of 29. It's like- it's just gonna be a whole thing. Oh
And I'll watch it
man.
all.
No, I would get in so much trouble. No, I can't do that. I signed an NDA. I can't talk about it. I'm just that was it's a really good response whenever you can't talk about something. I signed an NDA. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You're gonna sit up for that. Nobody cares. Nobody didn't say anything. There'd be no real punishment for doing so anyway.
Right.
I still have to pee. It's time for bed.
Yes,
It is time for bed.
Yeah,
it is.
but I hope you'll come back.
I will 100% come back. If you ask me to come back tomorrow, I would have to say no because I'm busy, but the following day after, yes.
That was like not a ringing endorsement, but all right, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Those of you who are still with us, like, thanks for hanging. This was a long one. This is probably one of our longest, clocking in at over 2
It was
hours.
10.
It's
Thanks
up
for-
there, but it's a good one.
Yeah, this is a real good one. Thanks again for hanging out.
Of
Yeah,
course. Thanks
thank
for
you.
having me and having just like a good time. I think I genuinely had a good time here. And I encourage all of my castmates who are watching this afterwards. Come on the
Come
show.
swing by. Come swing by. Pour a drink and sit down.
Hell yeah.
I'll tell them that the 2-hour requirement is just a JM thing. It's actually
Yes,
me
it's not
forcing everyone to
necessary.
stay on.
If
Exactly.
you-
Exactly.
But if you'd like to stay that long, it's fine. But it's not mandatory.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There we go.
there it is.